So ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to thanks our sponsor today, UAC Berhad, for their support to the event, and we'd like to invite our sponsor representative, and together he will deliver the technical presentation, Mr. HIBATUL HAQQI bin SAPIE. HAQQI, the qalqalah has to be there. All right, so let me explain a few, talk about some of his background. He's a specification consultant with over 10 years of experience in sales and marketing, specializing in fiber cement board solution for ceilings, IBS system, and facade. He holds a master in office management and representing UAC Berhad, a leading Malaysian manufacturer of cellulose fiber cement board, a committee to sustainability and innovation in the architectural industry. So with his experience, I hope the floor can ask few, not specific questions, something that probably has something in the back of your mind, or maybe you have questions that more technical. So because our crowd is not that big, we can use the time to ask that kind of question. So without further ado, I would like to invite Mr. HIBATUL to the floor. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and very good morning to all of you. Thank you, MC, for your warm welcome. I would like to introduce myself a bit. My name is HIBATUL HAQQI bin SAPIE. As a representative for UAC Berhad, you can call me HAQQI. Together with me today is our engineer Nazmi. So I hope I can share a little bit of how is fiber cement board itself and how versatile our fiber cement board itself. So today's topic is about the sustainability and the versatile for wood alternative. So basically for cement board itself, our main priority is to be substitute or replacing the wood itself. So I will start with our office. Our office is located in Mutiara Damansara, just nearby the curve there, beside the IKEA. So we already in the market since 1963. So almost 61 years right now. So not only we supply our fiber cement board throughout the Malaysia, so currently we also supply throughout the world. So the most board that we export to the outside is to Taiwan and also England. This is because the demand is there. The usage of fiber cement board in Taiwan is very high. So mostly they are using for the drywall application. So a little bit knowledge, how is UAC from? UAC Berhad is under LTAT Armed Forces and fully owned by Bostad Holding. So we are subsidiaries from Bostad Holding. So this is our factory located in Ipoh. This is about 42 acres, our factory in Ipoh, beside the Tasik Cement. As you can see, all our fiber cement board since 1963 is produced here. Why Ipoh is the best place? Because of the raw material sand contain silica more compared to other part in Malaysia. That's why our factory is located in Ipoh. So in terms of supply issue, everything should be no problem for local and also outside, because we already cater throughout this year. So we also have certified MS, ISO, everything. So what are we? What are actually a fiber cement? It consists of cellulose fiber from pulp tree, cement, sand, water, and some additive. After, if you can imagine, you just want to bake a cake, you put in the mixer, depends on the thickness. So if you require the thinner, we produce the thinner one is 3.2 mm, and the most thicker one is 25 mm. So depends on the thickness, you can have a various application and various product that can profile that can be used. So for UAC itself, we have 3 types of product range. One is a flat board series, our Superflex, Flexa board, and also Vista board. This is cater for ceiling application and also drywall application. Another category is IBS wall system, which is we do have solid panel, the precast for replacing the clay brick or conventional bricks, and also our solid wall, the in situ system. And another type of range is a wood-like series. This is what I mentioned to substitute as a alternative for you all, because the nature of fiber cement board, of course, is termite-free and water-resistant. This is the advantage of using fiber cement board. Because for termite itself, they cannot buy the cement. That's why we can replace or substitute for wood. So this is some illustration how our fiber cement board can be used. Normally, why you can see the illustration here, why our cement board is mainly used for the external usage, because of their durability and can withstand and water resistant also. So for UAC, we not only have certified from CIDB, we also do have certification from BBA, British Board Agreement, which is when we want to supply at their country, the London, because in this British Board Agreement, the clause is different between the island, Wales, and also London. So all is being catered by UAC. So this is the uniqueness of UAC Berhad, because we do have this certificate. So this is some our prominent project that currently we supply. As you can see on the left picture there is a Rumah PPRT, which is an affordable home. This is to showcase how affordable our IBS wall is, if you are compared to normal conventional bricks. And the right picture there is how our cement board replaced the real wood, and also instead of using aluminum strip shielding, you also can consider to use our cement board as a strip shielding. In terms of thickness, they are using 6 mm for this particular area. This is our overseas project. So our board also can be curved, but in the certain radius. So this is for the drywall application they are using, do the baseball Hall of Fame in Taiwan, and also the Taipei Nansan Plaza, also all using our drywall application. For UAC itself, we also very committed towards the ESG. So from 2019 until 2024, we already reduced about 12% the carbon emission. For UAC itself, also we want to become the zero emission. Our goal towards the ESG. So in our factory currently, all the 42 acres are using solar system in order to complete our ESG goal. So as you can see on the picture, currently we managed to about 7,300 tons carbon emission, we can reduce almost similar about 100,000 trees if you plant. So when we use our solar system in our factory, it can reduce the carbon emission, definitely. So this is all the cert that we do have and we required. Not only My Hijau for green label, and also we do have SGBC, which is mentioned 4 ticks. We are really in, they evaluate us as a leader for the green product. Not only that, we do have also EPD, Environmental Product Declaration by Dewan Technology, Korea certificate, and also Taiwan certificate. And all also our SIRIM certificate we do have required. I would like to talk about IBS wall first. After that, we're going to our flagboard series. After that, I will show you about our wood-like series. So UAC IBS wall actually is an alternative instead of using the normal conventional bricks. I will share you some video first to all of you have a look. So this is
HAQQI solid panel system, an innovative fast-track system for the new generation of walls using the latest and best construction technology. The system is revolutionizing the way walls are built. HAQQI solid panel system is an industrialized building system, IBS, certified to the maximum score of 1.0 by the Construction Industry Development Board of Malaysia, CIDB. HAQQI solid panel system delivers benefits that surpass the conventional masonry without the disadvantages. The installation of the HAQQI solid panel system is as follows. Plotting wall layout with the use of a laser marker or plumb line, transfer the marks onto the soffit. Fix top metal track to structural support and bottom metal track onto the floor using mechanical anchor bolt or approved equivalent fastener. Mark and cut the panels for installation. Move the panels into position. Tilt the panels to enable top tracks to slot into the cells. Mark the door and window opening to install door and window frame.
Install the panel.
Insert rebar for staggered panel installation method. Plumbing and electrical services can be easily installed where required. Patch with cement mortar after installation. All joints to be flush jointed with perforated paper tape and suitable jointing compound. For fixing with heavy anchorage, kindly refer to UAC's recommendations. When completed, the HAQQI solid panel system can accept a wide range of finishes, such as wall claddings, wall coverings, paints, and tile-on application. Conventional masonry has many disadvantages. Labor-intensive and slow. Involves messy wet works, and a lack of skilled labor can result in internal finishing problems. Incurs expensive and time-consuming cleaning up of waste materials created by wet works. There are often delays with finishing. In contrast, the system speeds up the installation process by up to 3 times faster than masonry. HAQQI solid panel is ready to be fixed. Good sound and thermal insulation. It reduces structural construction cost, being lightweight. Increases utilizable floor space. Reduced weight and thickness of the walls. Minimal mess at site, improves cleanliness and enhances site safety. Simple jointing ensures a smooth finish, no rendering is required. The result is solid and consistent quality. Not only does the HAQQI solid panel system provide the solidity and sense of security of conventional masonry walls, it also passes the stringent and demanding requirements of wall performance tests under BS 5234 Part 2. The sandbag impact test, door slab test, anchorage test, heat and rain test. The HAQQI solid panel system delivers lower construction costs, quick and easy installation, a flat smooth wall surface, solidity and resilience, reduced waste. Its smooth finish makes it ideal to use for landed residential houses, high-rise apartments and condominiums, as well as in commercial, industrial, institutional and leisure properties. And being lightweight, it has the flexibility to accommodate all types of floor plans. UAC is a global player. The HAQQI solid panel system demonstrates our dedication to continuous development of our product range. HAQQI solid panel, the new generation of innovative walls. Build better with UAC, the name you can trust.
Okay. This is more or less a brief introduction how our solid panel UAC IBS wall is look like. So the most important part, if are you using our solid panel, no rendering or plastering is required because our board is our skin. That's why we do not need have a rendering and also plastering. So this is the dimension of our solid panel. We only have two sizes. One is T75, which is mean 75 mm thickness, and another one is 100 mm thickness. Our width is 600, 2 feet, and we have three types of length: 8 feet, 9 feet, and 10 feet. The maximum we can go only 3 meters. So the composition inside of our solid panel is expanded polystyrene, grade F, mainly for construction. So this one, if you do have a lighter right now, if you burn it, the bits only shrink. It's not combustible. That's why we do have fire cert for this particular solid panel. Lightweight concrete, and also our skin is our cement board, the thinnest one, 3.2 mm. So both of this thickness, we do have certificate from Bomba to our spirated, even though 75 mm thickness and also 100 mm thickness. Our density is about 700 kg per meter cube, which is floating in the water compared to density water is 1000. And total our weight for panel size is about 55 kilo per meter square for T75 and 99 kilo per meter square per pieces. For sound insulation, for our T75 is 39 dB, which is equivalent to normal clay brick. So for our T100 is 43 dB, which is better than clay brick. So in terms of sound, everything, we are much superior compared to normal conventional bricks. If you are looking for 4 hours fire rated wall, we also do have the certificate from Bomba. So the combination double wall using T75 mm with the air gap 50 mm. Without the air gap, you cannot achieve the 4 hours fire rated. So if you are designing the hotel and you need the requirement, need the STC 55 dB, we do also have our acoustic performance wall combination between our solid panel together with our drywall application. And then currently we only total wall thickness that we do have 159 mm, which is the thinnest one in the market. And for this particular wall, we do supply to the TRX hotel currently. The opening date is about next year, about January. So almost finished at the upper level of the TRX there, using STC 55 dB. So the installation, I just recap what the video mentioned. It's normal, like the normal conventional brick. You still need to mark the line. After that, you put the bottom track at the soffit there. So why we need the bottom track? To make it the wall alignment. So you don't see the wall become snake later. That's why UAC implement bottom track for this particular wall. So you can see your wall very smooth and very straight in the line, because our panel will sit on the bottom track itself. So this is for box sub application, some example how we just put the bottom track and then just box the piping there. So for installation for the top one, we do have two type of ways. One using U track, another one is using L angle. Why is that? Because if we are using U track, you can see the lips there. If you do have a particular shielding, you can cover up. But if you don't have any particular shielding, we will advise using L angle like this. Because for the isometric drawing there, you can see our L angle will embedded inside our panel. So you cannot see any lips there for at the soffit there, how to install our solid panel. So this is dimension for our L angle. So the illustration will look like this. So you need to cut the panel a bit on the top side. After that, you just put our solid panel inside the L angle. So the L angle will hold between one panel and another panel. So for workability, only 3 and 4% will enough to install our solid panel. You no need require any machine for uplift or handling our solid panel. So for cutting everything, you just need using circular saw with diamond block cutter. So this is the dimension or method installation. For our solid panel, we not require any lintel if we are using T75 mm until 4 meter. If you are compared to normal conventional bricks, 3 by 3. Our one is 4 by 6. And then for above than 3 meter, the panel must be installed with the staggered, because to improve, enhance the strength of our wall. So if we are using T100, we can go up to 5 meter without any stiffener or lintel. And also the longest span is about 6 meter. So between one panel and another panel, you must use cement adhesive to combine between one and another panel, which is the grade is C2TES1. And the termination between another material, you need to use sealant. If let's say the termination between the RC beam or RC steel, also same, need to use sealant, modified sealant, MS sealant. So the also consider advantage for our solid panel itself. You no need to cast any lintel for door opening or window opening. This one also can omit the cost of the lintel. You just make it our panel horizontal, become lintel already. But there are some limitation for the lintel application. Only maximum opening we allow 2.4 meter. And then the panel itself need to sit about 200 mm. So you can reduce already the lintel cost, but normal windows and normal door, not more than 2.4 meter. So in terms of penetration or to install the conduit, everything, you just hack. If the requirement need sealant, you just put sealant, or the requirement need a fire collar or fire stop, you just put. This is what happened. And our panel can be cut, should be no issue. For installing the conduit, even the cross between another panel to another panel also can. But our limitation for hacking our panel is if, let's say you're using 100 mm, we allow to be hacked until 75 mm. And also cannot back to back. If we are using 75 mm, we allow until 50 mm to be cut. And also cannot back to back. That is our restriction or our limitation. Sorry. So this is how it looks after completed. You can treat same like a drywall application, only termination between one panel to another panel. After that, this is ready to paint already. No need any skim coat or rendering for the external side. So the illustration look like this. First, you need to fill the gap between the panel using cement adhesive. After that, put the fiber mesh, and then using UAC jointing compound. So for wet area, either drop or kicker is required. But the kicker, only 50 mm should be enough. And you still need to apply the waterproofing, same like the conventional bricks. So people will ask how to dismantle. Is it can be hacked, everything? I will show some video how the workers dismantle our panel. So if you, let's say you just hack using hammer, is quite difficult. You need to cut between the line. So you can see in the video here. So they cut it first between the panel, because our panel is 600 mm. So this is actually happen at the side. If you cut it properly, you may reuse back.
Bawah kena potong juga.
And then they just cut at the bottom there. And then already can be dismantled. So if let's say you want to reuse back to another type of wall, also can be done. So in terms of strength and robustness of our solid panel, to hang DB board, such as in the picture, also can be done. But there are certain tables that required. For wash basin, the normal cabinet like this, only normal wall plug can be used for installing our, using our solid panel. So this picture show how the compressor using just a normal wall plug can be done to hang something in our panel. So this is the table by Ramset. If let's say you can see, if using M10, the depth is about 50 mm, we can go up per point 20 kilo, 0.19 kilonewton. So per point, using normal wall plug already can cater 20 kilo. So should be no problem if using, if let's say more than that, you can just using chemical set that show in the table below. This is circular from bomber. Our solid panel can be used for partition wall, compartmentation wall, but we cannot use for the party wall. Even though we do have set for 2 hours fire rated. This is because of the UBBL still not changed. They still mention using solid masonry. So that's why we cannot use our solid panel as a party wall. So this is our certification for CIDB, IBS Factor 1. If your project required to score the 70% marks for IBS application, this is help a lot because we consider full mark for the IBS factor for wall application. We're not talking about the structure application because mainly the 70% marks is come from the structure and also the wall. So this is, if you are looking for GBI cert, we do have for this particular area. This is what the video mentioned earlier. The test that we done only using our 75 mm thickness. Our wall fall in the category severe duty, which is can be used for the industrial. So this is all the tests that been done. We already passed. Even though our solid panel is a non-load bearing wall, we also test for the load bearing wall because we want to ensure and want to show how quality our product is. So the test, we can go up about 259 kilonewton for single panel. So it's quite steady, our wall itself. So this is some encourage test, encourage how they fix the kitchen cabinet. This is also quite interesting. I just want to show you how our solid panel can be boxed up. So this is some illustration how our panel, instead of you laying bricks for this particular area, it quite take a lot of space. If you are using our 75 mm, you can fully utilize the space that required for that particular area. As you can see the left picture there, you can see how small the box up application can be done. You can imagine if you're using brick that for that particular area, it consists a lot of space. And then for UAC itself, we also can done opening there. If they require some maintenance and everything, we can design and put out the access panel at the particular area. This is some example also, the box up application that can be done for the external application. Another type of versatility of our solid panel is you can use as a fin wall. Normally the current trend right now using the fin wall application at the car park area there. As long you do have the parapet wall to anchor our solid panel, you can use our fin wall application. This is some example that we already supply our panel as a fin wall. This is how the drawings look like, and UAC will provide this to the architect. And how we bind our solid panel using either Hilti or Ramset system to bind our panel to the parapet wall. So this is another example. So we are going to what we already supply in our panel. So for this project, this is the combination between the shear wall application and also our solid panel as a non-load bearing wall. So the white color is our UAC solid panel. They are using this, and for this particular project also, because they're designing on the first place, we do have the test report. For this particular project, they managed to reduce 8% of the structure cost because of using our solid panel, because it's considered lightweight. Instead of using everything is shear wall, you can reduce about 8% for this particular project, for the structure cost. So the picture shows you, if let's say you using clay brick with the 150 mm thickness, you cannot go out throughout the door already. That's why our thickness, either 100 or 75, you can fully utilize and maximize the space that required. So this is how the looks inside after finish. It's quite smooth because our board is our skin. So this is some of the lintel application that I mentioned earlier. Can use, instead of cast another lintel, you just make it our panel horizontal, become the lintel already. So this is Lexa Fera at the Wangsa Maju there, using our solid panel application. How can be hang the kitchen cabinet there, and also the tile also using normal tile adhesive should be enough. No need special treatment. You just put the tile adhesive, after that you can put the tile in our panel already. See, this is the some application. Akasa by Hapseng. This project, okay. Hotel, RNF Curve, IBN Genting, Asset Kayamas. This project, about 2,000 units, we managed to finish about 2 years' time because the layout is quite repetitive. So save a lot of time for this particular project. Rumah Wip Setapak. And not only for the high-rise, we also supply throughout the residential. So this one at the Setia Alam, they are using for the internal wall. This is why they use the U-track, because they do have ceiling for this particular area. So this is shows how the lintels will look like. So the outcome will be look like this. You don't need to have a skim coat anymore, only the flush jointing between the panel. So this is YTL, Tambun. This is all the residential, landed residential, using for the internal wall. So not only that, how competitive our panel, we also can supply for the affordable home. So this is shows to you, we do supply for the PPRT also throughout the Malaysia. Not only that, Melaka Finance House. This is all the affordable home that we do supply for our panel itself. TMB, Rumah Felda, Yayasan Perak. Not only that, we do supply for the hotel project also. So what I just want to show you, project is quite interesting. We managed to finish the whole of this building about 8 months only, because they are using steel structure. After you put the steel structure like this, you just put our panel inside. It will look like this. Save a lot of time. For the total project, it's about 8 months only. And then you clad with our UAC plank. The decking also using our UAC deco wood, and become hotel already. Institution, the JKR also using our panel as a wall. This is Sekolah Daif Kelantan. Not only that, for the mezzanine floor, they are using our thicker board as a mezzanine floor for this particular project. Because UAC can produce until 25 mm thickness. Instead of you using checker plate, you can use our cement board as a flooring. Sekolah Kebangsaan, Pairawak Kedah, Sekolah Hamzah. This is all the schools project. Not only Peninsular Malaysia, we also supply to the East Malaysia. Paragon. If for the commercial also help a lot because there's quite a partition inside. So this one, some example, Pekan Rabu, and also IOI City Mall for the phase 2. Everything is using our solid panel, even though COVID is during that time, they managed to finish because of using our particular wall. IOI City Mall, Nucleus Tower, MBO. But for the acoustic, for the cinema, still need to have the acoustic consultant to put their acoustic panel. BHP, industrial. So before Gamuda make their IBS factory, they are using our solid panel as a wall for this particular, because of the you so-called can really fast for this particular project. You can imagine if let's say the 12 meter there, if you do the plastering work, everything is quite tedious. And also the cost also very high for the plastering at the high wall there. So if you're using our solid panel, the plastering and also the skim coat can be omit. So that's why you can have a high wall like this is in fast ways. Top Glove factory at Banting. This one, Shopee warehouse. No, mostly industrial will have a lot. Currently, we supply at the data center. So we managed to finish about 300 meters square per day for the wall, installing the wall panel itself. Consists of 10 people. So currently at the Sedenak there, you're using our solid panel as a wall. So this is inside. Modular construction, if we are looking for modular. So normally either we collaborate with another party. So let's say the hollow section supplier, we collaborate with them. You put our panel inside and just bring it to the site. Normally for the Petronas petrol pump station. This one at the Pengerang there. Also the concept is modular. Before this is meant for the executive from Petronas to stay there. After the project is finished, right now become hotel already for this particular area, using our particular solid panel. Hospital by KPJ. This is to show how the DB board can be hanged. And also the army camp we just finished for the Canberra. Another type of you can use back our solid panel is by using for the fencing instead of you are laying the bricks for this particular area. It's a balustrade. Okay, that's all for IBS system. So I will touch a bit on the flatboard series, what is considered bread and butter for UAC since 1963. So we do have either Superflex and also with starboard or flexaboard. Why they are different there? Because Superflex come with the square cut. Compare with the flexaboard or with starboard, we do have a recessed edge between the board itself. So this for Flexa and Vista is mainly for the seamless application. If you are okay with the butt joint everything, you may use the Superflex. Normally, Superflex is for roof eave application. So this is currently, UAC before this is only supply the board. Currently for UAC, we do supply together with the framing system. And we do also give the warranty by the system. Before this, so many years back, UAC only produced the board and we do supply the board only. So currently we come up with the system. So if you require some wind load for that particular area, depends, either 0.75, 1.2 or even 1.5 kPa also we can be designed. So depend on your requirement, we will design based on your particular details. So this is how look like. Currently, UAC do supply the ceiling framing, and also we put the design criteria in our drawing. Then this is also given the warranty by UAC. So this is some example how our cement board will look like for the flat board series ceiling application. And this one for roof eave is quite famous in market currently. We do supply for the roof eave. Either you want Duraven like this, or you want the flat surface also can be done. So we look like this. This is when you use super flat, they cannot be seamless. Always have a butt joint like this, compared to the previous one. So this one for FlexiBoard for the internal application, almost similar, and also the exposed grid. Sorry. Okay. This one is a wood-like series. Okay, this one our exposed grid will look like. Actually, the angle is from above, from below, so it's quite nice. Seems like UFO, but only the normal exposed grid series system. Okay. After that, I will touch about our wood-like series, is how our cement board can be substitute for wood. So this is the example how we want to conserve the heritage, everything. You can use our cement board instead of using the real wood. So this will look like. So I will share you some video. This is some video because for UAC also we do concern the empowerment. Because when we talk about ESG, we also try to comply with the ESG or SDG, the woman empowerment. So I will just show you how the girl itself can, using our cement board product, can build a house and doing by herself. I will show you.
Bagi saya dia mudah dipasang, sangat membantu dari segi individu yang perlu do it yourself, kan, buat sendiri. Dalam website dia ditunjukkan bagaimana untuk menggunakan produk ni dan information. Okay, hai, Assalamualaikum, nama saya Nur Azura binti Nordin. Saya tidak berniaga, tapi keperluan saya ialah saya membina rumah untuk saya duduk sampai akhir hayat saya di sini. Setakat yang saya pakai ni tak ada pecah lagi lah. Macam di bilik air saya, totally saya pakai board ni. Jadi kita mandi kan merecek-recek, tak ada lumut, tak ada apa. Untuk dalam rasa dah 10 bulan ni, so far so good. Ada kualiti sebab ada jaminan dia lah kat situ. Apa yang saya tahu tentang USA, actually saya search dari Facebook, daripada konsep-konsep orang buat homestay. Jadi saya nak kelainan rumah saya. Jadi saya berhubung direct dengan Tuan HAQQI di Damansara. Saya dapat kontak, harga yang cantik. Saya terus tak fikir panjang, saya terus beli produk ni. Sebab produk ni dah lama dalam Malaysia, antara pioneer di Malaysia. Lepas tu senang didapati di mana-mana hardware dan sangat membantu ialah salesperson dia lah, Cik HAQQI tu yang membantu saya. Masa saya compare tiga-tiga produk yang saya jumpa ni, USC punya salesperson bagus. Ada feedback. Yang ni saya kontak lambat. Yang itu lambat. Jadi saya rasa USC ni menyenangkan lah, memudahkan. Bagus untuk saya lah. Kalau in future ada orang nak, saya boleh recommend lah.
Okay, for your information, this girl only required the drawing, everything. They just make use full of the drawing that given by UAC. After that, they just install and send picture to me. Is it correct or not? That's all only. And after that, they said finish already. That's why we do some video. We are quite shocked also because they just use normal tukang from the. This is located in Batangkali actually. So the normal tukang there, they said, I mentioned to her that the floor joist must be 300, the spacing. Suddenly they make it 300. similar like the drawing. So I'm quite impressed, and then the outcome is quite good. So we also happy for her also. This is our floor decking, how we, instead of using the normal wood, you also can using our cement board, because we do supply 25 mm board. So this all the system is come from UAC right now. Before this, if you contact me, we not provide this particular drawing or this particular frame. So currently UAC are going for that. Everything is system by UAC. So this is how look like. This is using the normal fixing, using screw. I will show you how our another type of application using the conceal like this. You cannot see any screw at all, because we do have a direct fixed clip like that. So in terms of our board, also have a groove line in the middle. So this is also the system that developed by UAC. This one for the external application for the wall cladding. So this is some example that how our cement board can be already been used. This one to replace the aluminum strip ceiling or timber strip ceiling. This one for the canopy at the residential there. So they are using our cement board. Normally our cement board is using for the external application because of the durability and also the competitiveness. If you are asking me, compared to the internal side, we are a little bit expensive for the internal application compared to other material. So this is the external cladding, also using our cement board. This one for the ship lab. So as you can see on the left picture there, the chalet there, even the fencing, the white color one, also using our cement board. And not only that, the blue color one, the staircase, and also using our solid panel. You can call that particular project is shaded by UAC lah, because everything is using UAC. And then for our cement board also can withstand the weather and also the seaside. This one at the Sempona Sabah there, using our plank and also our shielding. But for the decking application there, you can see it's not using our cement board. Why? Because they are using kayu belian, and surprisingly, belian at there is much cheaper than our cement board. Okay, compared to here lah. That's why they not use, even though they ask the price is quite, belian is much cheaper. This is the wall cladding application also. This is decking application at the Janda Baik. Fencing, and also our skirting. So currently our skirting is quite, do have a high demand in the market, because we do produce, the current trend is 75 mm, 9 mm thickness. And for the installation, you just need to apply max bond, put up our cement board. Because our cement board can withstand the water. You know, Malaysian love to mop, so should be no issue after you using our cement board. Instead, if you are comparing with the tiles one, our price is not much different, and you can see the aesthetic. And we also do have either 75, 50, or you are looking for 100. Also, we do have for that particular area for the skirting. So this is the green certificate instead of SGBC. We do have the EPD, as I mentioned earlier. This is what I tell you before this. The dimension, everything is designed by the architect. So they just put the dimension. After that, the contractor need to cut at the side lah. And then the contractor will, if you are compared to wood are easy to cut. But our cement board is quite hard, but it can be done instead of using wood. So This is some overseas project that we do supply, mostly London and also Taiwan. This is all the UK. Because in terms of our cement board, in the four-season country, also there are no issue at all. Our board warping, everything, we don't face any issue for that particular four-season country. That's all from my side. So I've been told that the Q&A session will be after the presentation, so I just hold from now. So the Q&A session will be after the session will be finished, the end of this, before the end of this program. Thank you, and thank you all.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. We continue our next session. Without further ado, I would like to welcome Architect ZAMRI ISMAIL, our second speaker of the day. Let me read some of his background. Architect ZAMRI obtained his double degree in Bachelor of Architecture and Bachelor of Science in Environmental Design from University of Houston, Texas in 1993. 1993, I baru 13 tahun. And has worked as at Arch Image Incorporated Houston before returning to Malaysia, and has served in various firms and also as a full-time lecturer and visiting lecturer for over 18 years at a public and private university with a combined 32 years of experience. He is responsible for projects ranging from institute, residential and commercial, including works in collaboration with foreign architects from the initial stage of design to the construction supervision. Among current projects using BIM are new 10-story women and children hospital in Kajang, Selangor, 7-story car park and associate facilities at Penang International Airport, and Putrajaya Mixed Development at Precinct 11. Architect ZAMRI is involved in various NGOs and committees for government agency. He was a council member of Malaysia Institute of Architects, PAM, for 2020-2021, and served in 2012 until 2016. Architect ZAMRI was the chairman for PAM BIM Development Committee from 2014 until 2016. He was also the editor-in-chief for the Architecture Malaysia magazine from 2014 until 2015. Currently is also serving as a president for BIM Institute of Malaysia. So without further ado, I would like to welcome Architect ZAMRI to the stage. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullah. Thank you, YNCT, my ex-student at IUM. So I'm still young, as you introduced. Okay, I was informed I only have 1 hour to talk about BIM and the emerging technologies related to BIM. I can see a mix of audience today. It's a bit difficult to compress technological innovation and BIM in particular, or digitalization of our field, especially when I decide to cover AECO, Architecture, Engineering, Construction and Operation, or FM. So it's quite a heavy topic, but I have a lot of slides. I try to compress. I think the rest I will leave it towards question and answer later. Okay. Let's start with the, as you may have read in the synopsis, we would like to relate BIM. Some people, BIM has been around for so long. I remember in 1991 when I started using HAQQI. It was BIM already because they have some parametric features when I was a student in the US, and I ended up working for Archimesh, an architecture practice with digitalization at that time. And fast forward until today, this is what I call, back then it was a dream, now a dream can come true, okay? So we are in this era and moving forward into AI age. There are a lot for us to expect and to explore. For us, I would like to share some of our project. We we've been working on BIM since 2014, a real project, until now, especially in hospitals, schools, and so on. Okay, I understand the audience may have different backgrounds. Some whom I've spoken to has, maybe used digital manufacturing tools already, as you mentioned just now, programming. So some are quite advanced, but I will breeze through a bit of overview, what is BIM all about. As I mentioned earlier, those who have implemented BIM in their project or adopted BIM in workflow, they must have all these key roles. The BIM manager, I myself also identify myself as BIM manager. You must have BIM coordinator and BIM modeler. And then BIM manager, of course, you have to have that experience, required qualification, and also must be a strategic leader where you make a lot of decisions starting from drafting out your BIM project execution plan, which is essential document in BIM implementation in terms of file management and so on. And BIM coordinator, for BIM manager, you have to have a professional degree, at least minimum 5 years, I would say. And for building project, preferably architect, because architects are trained in to a certain degree multidiscipline, because we also study engineering and services, M&E and so on. For BIM coordinator, a diploma or even a first degree in architecture will be suffice, where they are responsible for model integrity, coordination and so on. And modeler, of course, production, preferably by design of the software. The modeler, if you are also a designer, that will be a preferred workflow, because you decide in design as well as model with all the model quality expected for BIM model and so on. Okay, I'll just run through very quickly. I think most of you are aware what BIM in different disciplines entail too. BIM for architecture, of course, we do starting from conceptual design, space planning, and visualization. I just would like to highlight, some people said, oh, I understand BIM. What is BIM is all about? In most cases, when I encounter with client, first they started saying, oh, when you do BIM, you can do clash, clash analysis. As if like clash is a big thing. But that is what we want to avoid, actually. But essentially, I would like to describe, if you were to understand BIM, there are maturity, BIM maturity, level of development, and also the dimension of BIM. So maturity, there are 3 levels, level 1, level 2, level 3. Level 1 is single discipline, level 2 multidiscipline, collaboration. Level 3 is integrated BIM, construction all the way up to handover of as-built model. And then the third one is level of development. The first one is the maturity. Second one is level of development. LOD 100, 200, all the way up to 600. There's no 600, 500. So level of development essentially is just a single, because BIM is a single model workflow. You develop from schematic all the way until LOD 500 as-built model for operation and maintenance. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, dimension, first dimension 1D is already BIM without even a single drawing. It's already BIM, the project brief. And then 2D sketches, 3D model, 4D in terms of planning and scheduling. You link to programming scheduling software like Microsoft Project, Primavera or Synchro. Then 5D, you involve quantity, takeoff, and cost. 6D, some people say you incorporate the green design or sustainability. 7D, the operation and maintenance, FM, facility management. And now if they even talk about 8D, 8 dimension, the BIM citywide. So those are the 3 items. If you understand BIM in that category, meaning you understand the whole framework of BIM, right? Okay, I also run through a lot of slides based on our experience, our project. Okay, BIM in engineering essentially involves structural, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, 4D scheduling, and construction simulation. when you link your, for example, Navis work with Microsoft Project or Primavera, then you can do the sequencings. And then BIM in construction, this is the critical part in Malaysia, especially when we did our hospital Kajang project, where we have ended over LOD 500. It was quite challenging because the project did go through the pandemic, the MCO, and finally we managed to complete. But when you do LOD 500 or BIM level 3, integrated BIM, you need contractor, okay? The manufacturer, subcontractor, fabricator, they also have to use BIM. And that also part of the requirement under JKRB requirement. And that is the hardest part to achieve, because most of them were not ready, and they decided they have to comply with the requirement, but they have to outsource. But the biggest challenge still is not about software or hardware or even competency of BIM personnel. The real challenge is decision-making process, procurement process, and also contractual clauses in the current delivery process. You know, we are still using conventional contract and also procurement, where you decide to appoint subcontractor later. Okay, the RDI, RDE will be done later, but submission has to be done ahead. So we end up having, just to give you some idea, revision 47 for architecture model. So some people will say, oh, BIM didn't work, but we need to dive deep into why it didn't work. Okay, right. So BIM LOD 500, when you hand over to your operator or owner, 6D or 7D, this is throughout the life cycle of the building. We also did this for Plus Berhad, for highway R&R, for the operation and maintenance. Okay, what are the challenges? I just go through very quickly here. Skills shortage is still an issue. We have problem with trained people. After a few years, they were snatched by somebody else, including Singapore. So, of course, sometimes they can offer very high salary. And then interoperability issue, JKR, they focus on one software only. It's like a single proprietorship, which is Autodesk, Revit only. Because, is it a monopoly? I mean, it can be a contentious issue, but they said they cannot afford to do standard based on so many different software or platform. Like in Singapore, for you to submit the building plan approval, they have to prepare 3 different type of templates. They have Revit, they have EcoSim, and they have ArchiCAD, which has different standard or spec, in order for them to do the automatic checking or system checking for the compliance of building submission and so on. But so far, if you were to do any architecture or building project for JKR, they only use Autodesk software. In terms of change, okay, this is the part, I would say the challenge is on the leadership of any project owner. Okay, even the contractor, some of the big contractors very skeptical about BIM. They say, oh, BIM didn't work. BIM just added more cost. We did not achieve the so-called efficiency, cost saving, and so on. But they did not really, diagnose or understand the reason for that. Whereas the BIM implementation overseas, like in UK or in the Scandinavian country, in the US, was successfully done long time ago. There are even success story in terms of audited that BIM can save up to 19.5% in terms of cost saving during construction. Right, so what are the solutions? Of course, training. Okay, I would just like to highlight this because this is among architects at PAM, among practitioners. Some people started buying softwares. They say, oh, we have BIM already. Or they start sending personnel, BIM modeler, BIM coordinator, or even BIM manager. And then come back, they try to implement, but it didn't work. Why? Some people spend millions, literally, when at the onset of BIM implementation last time, they bought software, hardware, what was expensive, now a bit more affordable. I would say there are 3 types of BIM implementation. That the third one, I would say, the most successful. The first one, you send the personnel for training outside after you purchase the software. and then expect them to come back and implement in your project. They don't work. Second method is to bring the trainer inside. You know, to work with the personnel on the project. It proved to be costly. Of course, you invite trainer inside. That one, of course, it may have a higher level of success. But the third one, this is what we did. We have to start with our own project, pilot project, and really train by doing real project. Okay, the concept, of course, you know, the time is a constraint, delivery, you know, deliverables expected within certain period of time, but you are still training them. But it's okay. Your productivity during that time may dip down, but once you complete the project, the next project, you will increase maybe like 200%. This is what we did, and it's proven to be successful. But you have to take care of your staff after that. After some time, they will be snatched away. And they offer like 1,500 more. They're willing to do that, okay, because of the productivity level. Okay. I would like to also stress here on the usage of CDE, Common Data Environment. Last time, for example, to give you an example, different platform has a different problem. Revit, last time we have problem working with big files, especially hospital, multidisciplinary, collaboratively, and where people are accessing the same file at the same time, you tend to have a problem. It hang, stuck. But after the introduction of BIM Collaborate Pro, or even BIM 360 at that time, you alleviate that problem. And you do not have to have your own in-house server already. You just subscribe using BIM Collaborate Pro. You can do collaborative BIM cloud link. And then when you save, it temporarily save on your PC, local PC. And then toward the end of the day, when you publish, then it will update the whole model again. And across discipline. This is truly level 2 collaboration. So it's very important that you use CDE. Subscription is rather reasonable, about one user per year, about 2,500 ringgit. Without the need, unlimited storage. And you can access 24/7 anyway. And I'm as a BIM manager, I can control the ACL, access control level. Whether you can edit, you can download, you can just browse through and so on. All right. Okay, where are we heading in terms of future of BIM? Some people last time they said, "Oh, we have AutoCAD. Why we need BIM at that time?" Okay, and then when they start losing opportunity in terms of getting projects, especially JKR project, without BIM you cannot get JKR project above 100 million and above 50, now even 10 million, you will not be able. And now with design and build BIM requirement, the contractor also have to have BIM, not just hospital, even school now. We have one first project, conventional project, school, but they will go all the way up to LOD 500. So the contractor have no idea what is BIM. They just said tick, tick, yes. And then when they were awarded, they're struggling. What is BIM is all about? Then they have to outsource. And then now the shortage in terms of BIM expert to provide so-called BIM consultancy, which is not really institutionalized yet. People claim they are BIM consultant, they charge, so differently, it depends on the level of competency. And some of these new setup firm, so-called BIM consultant, they may not know what they are signing up for, the workload, the requirement, the changes, and then sometimes when they charge so low, all halfway they run away, especially hospital, it happens. So where do we see how BIM relate to AI, for example? We will look into that. Yes, one of our audience mentioned, this is where we are heading in terms of customization, how we use BIM in design process, delivery process, and so on. Okay, the AI, artificial intelligence, AR, augmented reality, VR, virtual reality, and digital twins to the end. Digital twins, when you construct the building virtually, digitally, and also the actual one. Okay, how the storage of information in the digital model or building will help you manage the building, the actual building, for the whole life cycle of the building. And then IoT, of course, a lot has to do with Internet of Things, where you can manage or do facility management. When you link to a BIM model, it enables you to facility manage better in terms of energy efficiency, the spatial management, utilization, and also predictive maintenance, so that it reduce a lot of maintenance costs and make the building operation more efficient and more profitable for the building owner or for the property owner. And then ESG reporting now, ESG is important, as mentioned by HAQQI before. Not only just green building, but also a lot of other things that somehow relate to the information that you store in the BIM model itself. Because remember, BIM is about BIM. The keyword there is I. Information. That's why it's relevant. It is so important. Okay, so BIM will stay no matter how you term it. Some people call it VDC, Virtual Design and Construction, or IDD, Integrated Digital Delivery, but it's BIM essentially. It's just coined by people who started this, but it will stay. Okay, in Malaysia, as I mentioned earlier, we have a JKR roadmap. CIDB, where I was in the CITP, Construction Industry Transformation Program, they set up CIDB My BIM Center with budget from Prime Minister's Office to provide training for all disciplines. So you can still send your staff over there for certification, but the real training when you start working on project with BIM. And then we also have standard ISO 19650. And then, as I mentioned earlier, now even 10 million, they make it mandatory to use BIM. Okay, the challenges as I relate earlier, in terms of cost, to comparatively, it become more and more affordable, even though we still purchase the software in US dollar. So that's why it's expensive. It's just like paying 2,000 US dollar. Here you have to pay almost 9,000 US dollar. So we pay nasi lemak in ringgit, but we pay software in dollar. So very expensive actually. At PAM we tried with Autodesk last time, but it didn't work. Even though you talk about buying rights, intellectual property right software, but the disparity in terms of cost is still very high. It's just like 5 times compared to US. Okay, for certain discipline, for architect, ROI is good. For electrical engineer, I would say they have to do a lot more with BIM. Some people start saying that it's not worthwhile for them to use BIM with the kind of fee that they're getting. Because if you, again, BIM is a collaborative platform. If one of the disciplines, delayed or incomplete, you cannot do coordination. It will drag everybody down. If that is required, for example, if you were to do BIM model for electrical, where you have to do coordination, class analysis, and so on, and then before you install at site, let's say the electrical supervisor asks you for shop drawing based on BIM model, shop model LOD 400. If you cannot produce it, they will not let you install on site, at site. And then if you install without that, they will not pay you. This is what is happening now. So I think this is something that, they have to look into their fee structure again. But that's another challenge for them also. Right? So how do we address these challenges? As I mentioned, either in Singapore, government give a lot of incentive, even 50% money back for training and software for all size of firms to implement BIM, because in the end it give back to the incentive given to the firms by increasing in productivity and profitability, or even in Singapore case, they can also export services and bring the foreign exchange back. But here in Malaysia, we don't have that yet, which just make it very difficult to certain firms who are just starting. Right, so in terms of roadmap, yes, they are talking about up to 75% for all public projects to use BIM, because they anticipated efficiency, productivity of using BIM. So why should we waste or keep wasting during design, construction, and operation, if BIM can help save money, save cost, okay, up to 20%, 10 to 20%. So as a leader or government, that is a good reason for them to make BIM mandatory or mandate the use of BIM. Okay, in terms of long term, of course, you know, Singapore has done it because they are small, but by the way. But when you have all this digital twin, everything that you do, building, infrastructure, highways and so on, they have the twin digitally. It's make the management, the operation much better because the information are there. And the storage, okay, one thing about information with BIM is a single reference of truth inside the BIM model. We have everything inside there, the 2D, the document, the PDF, the warranty, you know, anything to do with the design of the BIM object itself. So it's there. And storage and retrieval, this is what BIM very good at. Because when you follow the standard in terms of standard naming and so on, the classification is easier to retrieve, to extract and schedule that you want information from there and analyze and report accurate. There's no other cumbersome, you know, different storage, different software. It's just one reference, single reference. So there's no discrepancy. Right? Okay, this is very important slide. I will spend a bit on this. We have about half an hour. Okay. I don't have much images. I will leave the images toward the end, just to give some idea. Okay, this diagram is very old. It's about, I got it from my lecturer back then in Houston. Okay, we invited him to PAM 2009 by the name of Philip Patrick Sun from San Francisco. He was teaching me in Houston Medical Center, being hospital. And he's about 80 something. I think you know him, Philip Patrick Sun. We did hospital design, hospital UIA in Kuantan. We do design charade with him. This is the diagram showing if you were to be efficient at this stage. Okay? This is at construction. Our fee is about 10%, consultant fee. Yeah? This is the construction cost. Let's say 1 billion, because now 1 billion is nothing. One project, 1 billion is 1 billion ringgit, by the way. Imagine they pay us only 10% of the construction cost. But proven in the UK government soft landing, they did the study, audited by PricewaterhouseCoopers. They can save comparatively if you were to do conventional delivery compared to BIM, fully BIM, level 3. They save 19.5%. 19.5%, you talk about 1 billion, of course, sound if 100 million, 19.5 million saving, 190 million if 1 billion. Putrajaya has done that and they prove the saving at Parcel F. Parcel F is about 1.4 billion, the government office there. But that one is done by contractor Suncon. But they, of course, the rest of the data may not be publicly available, but the saving is there. And then during operation and maintenance, throughout the life cycle, minimum 30 years, you're talking about the cost is 4.3 times the construction cost. Okay? Imagine if you can save by using BIM with all the LOD 500, the SBIT model, and you put it, I'll show you after where we put LOD 500 under Autodesk Fusion, and then you can access through API. We design our own API, application programming interface, where you put in cloud, Microsoft Azure Cloud. For operation and maintenance, they can access, and imagine they have about 50 R&R, including the highway itself, So you have all the data there, accessible. With ACL, access control level, you can set even the top management all the way up to the maintenance person can access it at different level of access. Okay, they use all the push technology, the work order and so on for maintenance, predictive maintenance, schedule maintenance. They know when to replace what, which bulb and which toilet and so on, at any time, anywhere, cloud-based. So they can save, let's say 10%. 10% is about, if this is 4.3 billion for the whole system, 10% is 430 billion for the whole life cycle at this operation and maintenance. This is the biggest part. What is this? This is what we should show the client, the leadership. 42 times the cost of construction is the business operating cost and of course the revenue, profit as well. Example, let's say KPJ. Anybody doing KPJ? Healthcare, hospital? Ada? Pantai? Or Tawakal? Well, anyway. Oops, sorry. If, let's say, throughout the life cycle, let's say 30 years, you're talking about 42 billion business operating. Hospital can bill out revenue one day, 1 million is nothing to them per day, right? 1 million per day. You're talking about how much you pay for overnight stay in Prince Court, you know. But for the American, for the medical tourists, they say it's still cheaper. Okay, but even at this, if BIM with all the information, the processing, the accessibility, and the uncumbersome and reduction in terms of labor and so on, if BIM can save 10% because for the operation efficiency, 42 billion, 10% is 4.2 billion for the whole life cycle, 40 years. If you talk this to BOT or PPP, private partnership, you know, when they do concession 42 years, 25 years and so on, how much can they save using BIM? But they always say, oh, okay, where's the proof? Prove me wrong that BIM doesn't work. BIM has to work integratedly. This is the part that I would like to emphasize. Most people say, oh, this project, oh, hospital Pendang tak boleh, hospital ni tak boleh, Maran tak boleh, try buat, hospital Shah Alam tak jadi. Why? You need to know why. The real cost for that failure, quote unquote, or partially successful. Right? So this is very important slide for us to, especially to communicate to the leadership, the decision maker, why BIM is mandatory. Can you keep wasting? You know that you're wasting, and BIM is the way to go to avoid that. Proven, that's why JKS has adopted mandatory. Okay? Alright. Okay. BIM and AI. We are at this stage, is still mostly, most of the software manufacturers are still experimenting with generative AI. You know, either you do text command or simple language, they call it ML, machine learning, or using LLM, large language model. But software like Rhino, Grasshopper, or even Dynamo, they are developing this in tandem with BIM. BIM has the information, but how you use the information inside BIM with AI, machine learning, to make the whole process, starting from conceptualization until operation, more efficient. Machine is good at doing things that is repetitive, that is, you know, no creativity required. So whatever machine is good or best at, let them do it. Okay? For example, if you were to do, this is the overview. If you were to do different option at conceptual level with all the model for all the study that you want to do. If you were to do 3, I remember we did the school design. The client asked for 3 design options. How long will it take? 3 concept, 3 design. We have to, you know, mobilize our design team, 3 different team, 3 different design and present. But with BIM, at the conceptual level, you can analyze and study, we call it optioneering, and very quickly. You just give command. Okay, this one you give certain weightage to the sustainability. This one very efficient in terms of space utilization. This one you talk about just a facade design study or architecture language. You just give command, or we call it prompt. Prompt engineering. Prompt. Okay, this is where architect has something, I would say, the advantage. What you ask is what you get, right? What you command or you give instruction, that's what you get. You as a leader now, how many of you still do your own work? Or you just give pengarah, director? It depends on your command. How many of you still do your own work, do your own design and everything? Oh, good. Then you cannot be a boss. Just kidding. But In leadership, most of the time, if you are at the top, you don't do, right? Most of the time. Maybe 95%, you just do the thinking and give instruction. Because of your knowledge and your wisdom experience, you just give instruction. Same thing, if you were to use AI, you know what to ask. You know what to refer. Because AI is good at machine learning. Just give them instruction. Dia tak akan marah, dia tak akan balas balik. They are very obedient. You know? It's just 100% slave. But it's okay. We are not being cruel to AI. And they do very fast. They don't sleep. They don't get tired. So this is the best. Okay? It just depends on your prompt. Okay? It's like Tun Mahathir. Tun Mahathir doesn't know everything when he was a PM, 22 years. But he know how to find the AI. Not the real AI, but give instruction. So AI come in so many forms in terms of software, tools, and so on. Okay? That yet to be explored. Okay, yes, AI can be embedded in BIM, authoring, and project analytics. This is very important point. Okay, because in any, even you talk about maintenance and operation, BIM provide the backbone of information. 3D based, geometric based, single reference of truth, no discrepancy, accessible 24/7, online through cloud. Okay, so that is the very important criteria of BIM, and yes, you can use AI to do whatever you need to do with that model. Right? So this is another something to look forward later on. BIM and AI, predictive and generative design. The advent of technology, you know, the development is so rapid. 6 months ago, and now it's different already. You know, we started using ChatGPT in 2021, and now it can do wonders. You know, OpenAI was free, now with the paid, and then you have all DeepSeek, Gemini, and so on, and like hundreds more coming up. So, where are we in terms of keeping up with this? As an architect, as a design professional, construction professional. So, for example, like Autodesk project, they have this still experimental to a large extent, the Bernini project, where they combine Forma, Revit, and AI. Co-pilot. So example, they use like, you know, just study of daylight in terms of energy consumption or BEI, Building Energy Index. And then, okay, keyword here is a prompt driven workflow. You can use Dynamo Revit API. API, sometimes even now, I don't know, some of you are programming, right? Programmer, right? Do you do programming? Python, SQL? Huh? I did. We had to learn programming, coding last time. It was Fortran, Basic, and so on, like Autolips. But some command or some coding is required when you do customization. But now with AI, do you need to do programming, write all the syntax anymore? No. Just give prompt. Or I want you to write a coding using Python, and use that for your running of the program. You want to do the pull-down menu, or pop-up menu, or Windows, you know, and link and read and open. All those can be done using AI. You don't have to write the syntax anymore, and just review. Whatever you need to do, give instruction, give prompt. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's simple as, yeah, last time, if you to do that, you have to do overnight, you know, hours of sleepless night. But now, literally in few minutes. That's what programmers are worried now. You know, architect can be programmer so easily. Right? You don't have to know the little nitty-gritty of syntax and so on. Right. How much time do we have? 10 minutes. Okay, about 10 minutes. Okay, so I just run through example. The main manufacturer of BIM software product, mainly Autodesk, Graphisoft for ArchiCAD. They have, of course, this is a very healthy competition. They have a DDS CAD when they offer AI-based design validation. You know, like Solibri Model Checker, for example, is used for smart checking system against compliance for building submission, for fire safety and so on. Or even now under CDM, under the last time they call it OSHIM for operational safety, where architect also severally liable, so we can do analysis for that as well. Predictive modeling for clash detection, of course this is in place already. Python, the programming language for API, application programming interface, in the AI plugin. You can use a lot of this for zone validation, adaptive meshing and so on. Or you can also do simulation for the usage. That when we didn't win the competition for Penang Airport expansion, but we did collaborate with Airport Research Center in Germany, where they have this, they call it the simulation for movement of passengers from aircraft all the way to the curbside. And then you can predict during peak time, during emergency, how they use the space, how long they stay at the waiting area and so on, how to avoid such, crime and so on. So, using the backbone information inside BIM, you can do a lot of simulation for that. Bentley, they have that also. Bentley for EcoSim, still in development stage mostly. And CPE, okay, CPE is open BIM. This is, you can download. They have like 200 different software for free. You can use it for free. But like anything else, just like ChatGPT, you can use it for free up to certain limit. Going further than that, more capability, higher storage, yes, you have to pay, start paying. But still affordable. The reason why people don't use it here, because JKR you cannot use it for JKR project. Okay, but I encourage CPE is a Spanish-based manufacturer or software vendor. They have AI based for structural and energy analysis already. They have AI assisted early stage design feedback and so on. So go and check out Open BIM. Okay, this is IFC under Building Smart International for interoperability to support AI metadata. Okay, good thing about AI or BIM and the cloud-based, you can interconnect real time in cloud. Okay, it can, AI is machine learning, ML. Okay, LLM, large language model, they can educate themselves. They can update themselves. Imagine, while you sleep, they keep learning. And when you wake up, they update you. Okay? Just imagine that. But of course, the project getting more complex and bigger, and the expectation deliverables is more, comprehensive, because they know what you are capable of, AI capable of. Okay? Just like people say, okay, how many steps do you walk today? Because you have AI in your watch, right? Oh, I have walked 992 steps. How many calories of intake energy today you can record? So from there, they can analyze how healthy are you today. How much have you contributed to your clogging of your blood vessel today? Yeah, similarly, yes, you can do to that extent, to that detail, because the machine capability. Remember, those who are my age, I used to do 3D Studio DOS rendering at 4 megabyte RAM. 4 megabyte. Now they're using 64 gigabyte RAM. And imagine, space technology, 1969, Apollo 11, Apollo 13. They cannot have even computer inside the spacecraft. This one, they call it onboard computer inside the car, right? Because last time computer should be in Houston, Mission Control Center. Houston, we have problem. Then the mission control will do the checking, because computer was so heavy and so big, we cannot bring all the way to the space. But now, because of the nanotechnology, and it's still developing. Imagine, it's getting small, and now iPhone 17, 2 terabyte. 2 terabyte, in such a small, and then the processing power. 6 months from now, 1 year from now, imagine. Some people say, okay, you don't need architect anymore. How many of you agree? How many of you agree? 5 years from now, you don't need architect anymore. Seems like. So how do we stay relevant? I mean, not talking about not 10 years, even 3 years from now. How do you make yourself relevant in the sense that you may need to find your new relevance? New relevance. Like last time, we used to do drafting using AutoCAD. Now you don't need anymore to do drafting. You don't need draftman, right? Future, you may need architect to do what? Just to give command. Commanding architect. Just give command. But what command? It's just that some people say, okay, what is the difference between Leclerc and me? I can drive also. Given the same car, F1, can I drive like Leclerc? Will you be the person who command AI like the F1 driver or F1 champion? That is the difference in the future will be. Right? Okay, so this is just some example that we have done. I was talking about to one just now. She's involved in healthcare. Okay, just give you some idea. Architect is not just about physical planner or physical designer, conceptual. We are the mastermind of project from inception until demolition. And BIM is also into that. How will you develop, a tourism resort or tourism hub to a point that you can develop even the whole operation and plan for that and digitalize everything? Can you do that? Where do I find the best laksa in Kedah, for example? Or how do I stay to a point that if I were to replenish or rejuvenate myself in a wellness resort that has all this impact in terms of, we talk about resort that have this forest bath or even the ion effect. How you can, promote your wellness by living in that area. And we go all the ways to the details. Yes, those information can be included in BIM model. And you can have tourism information model for that, for example. Okay, it goes on and on. Okay. Some people call it prompt engineering. Maybe in university, because you don't teach anymore, right, in university. Do you, as a lecturer, do we teach? Because the minute you open your mouse, you say, oh, I found it. Gemini, Google, AI, I found it already. What are you teaching? I found it already, I know it already. Give me 1 minute. you starting opening your slide, 10 slide, they say, I got it already. I know it exactly. Including the reference, the Harvard model reference, whatever you call it, is there. So what do you do in university now? You're more like a facilitator, okay? Maybe teach them how to think. How to think, like a good prompt engineer. Okay, what kind of knowledge base that you should have so that you can educate yourself. In order to ask the right question to get the right prompt, you have to be knowledgeable as well as a smart thinker. Okay, just a bit of how many things that you can actually teach people how to think? Or you just born to be thinker? How do we think as an architect, as a designer? I remember my friend, my alumni also, Kun Lim. He used to give lecture about design thinking. We were from the same university, Kun Lim architect. Now he's back in Seattle, Washington. Design thinking is about what? What is the basis of design thinking? When you think, when you make decision in design, for what? Center is for benefits of other human beings, right? And of course the planet, we are included in that sense. So how do you train, or your student rather, how to train them to be a thinker, in that sense, a design thinker? How do you teach people to think, how to think? So that you need thinker with knowledge to prompt the right question to AI. Of course, AI can be both, good or bad. Okay? It depends on the intent and the thinker. Okay. What is creative? What is critical thinking? Can anybody explain? Creative and critical. when people say, oh, you have to have critical thinking ability. Okay. Okay, I've read a book because sometimes when you teach design, you like to think how should I think, train student to think how to come up with a design concept. Okay, it has to be creative because you're designing something new or creative design. Okay, critical when you have to think from all aspects that matters, from all direction, from all angle. Critical. In terms of circulation, in terms of aesthetic, in terms of climatic response, everything. Because those matters and you put in priority. Creative, you don't design based on what people have designed or copy or even just mimic. You can get inspiration, but you're creating something new in the future that you have not seen it, but you know the criteria or characteristic that you set, best possible that your mind can think of, based on your knowledge and experience. So combining those, you design your, in case of architect, of course you design your own architecture design or building. Okay, so these are the AI BIM pilot readiness check. If you were to be AI driven design firm or architect, okay, what do we need to know? Yes, the first thing I always go to leadership. Your will, your intent. Okay, if you say, oh, I don't need AI, I don't need BIM, I just do whatever, I just sketch. I like to sketch. Kids nowadays, they don't know how to sketch. During my time, who cares about my time? When in the future you cannot compete anymore. Yes, your sketch are good to a certain extent. Now you can do sketch to 3D model, AI. You sketch, it can convert into 3D model. Yes, you can do that. AI can do that already, generative AI. But the sketch is from your own idea, but you use AI to help enhance and expedite the process. Okay, technology infrastructure, of course, you have to invest, the data readiness and so on. Okay, maybe establish your AI team with BIM. This is just an example of my workflow for our project, as I put in our BIM execution plan, from design stage, design, construction, coordination, construction, and all the way up to handing over. Okay, the key AI capabilities emerging in BIM integration, for example, just give you an example. Don't have to dive deep into this so much. In terms of generative design, this is just example of Autodesk product. Okay, but looking at all this data-driven, how you use AI to analyze building performance and so on. So anything to do with analysis of data or information, AI can help in design. Okay, for architects, okay, just dive a bit into this. In terms of concept design phase, it can generate faster massing, facade design, conceptual model studies, and optioneering. I call it optioneering. Imagine last time you only have 2 or 3 options, but now within the same time or maybe 1 week, you can have 20 different options. And we have 3D printing now. We can print model in about 4 hours. It's cheap now. You can buy 5,000 ringgit for 300 by 300 model, using 50 ringgit per roll of polymer. They call it just like polymer wire. And then you can do all the analysis, or even just hold. Some client like to see it physical, but you can just do 3D printing. And then documentation phase. AI will automate, because BIM, you can do 5D, all the cost estimate, quantity takeoff using cubic cost, cost act and so on. And then you can link to your model, whatever you change, it update automatically. And then coordination phase, in terms of clash, you can do auto clash. Now, BIM Collaborate Pro, you don't have to do manual clash anymore. Just do the linkage among the discipline. Every time anybody update or publish, it will do auto clash. Okay, and then you can refer the issue when clash for designer to resolve to the designated designer for clash resolution. And then client communication, of course, you can do for layman what they want to see. They can do walkthrough, flyby, visualization, AI generated. You can, recently there was a viral showing the historical footage animation during Majapahit and Sriwijaya time. It's just by input to AI. And you can do this very easily because it's your own design, okay, for presentation to client and so on. And then data insight. AI tool can summarize BIM data for decision making. So this is easily done. Last time you used to spend a lot, but because of BIM and all the data very well organized in terms of file naming and so on, you can extract almost instantaneously and generate the report on summary and so on. Alright, so just focus on this. In terms of architectural application, you can do concept modeling, massing, adaptive visualization, site design coordination. You can use LiDAR. Now with the point cloud, 3D scan, LiDAR, even surveyor might lose their job. And surveyor soon, with the accuracy of 2 mm, 2 mm accuracy. So you can do that in minutes, literally in minutes. So this is coming into our way, and then the energy and among different manufacturers, so on. Right. So skill. These are the area that we need to look into that. In terms of even scripting, it's not that difficult. Now even at SPM level, they start teaching Python, SQL, C++, because again, AI will help you learn as well, and then you don't have to do all the little scripting, if, then, else, and then all the bracket and so on that we used to do. Now it can be done easily, and then you test and run it. Okay, it's a good hobby also if you were to try this. Okay, it's just like playing with puzzle, but it can be done very fast nowadays. Right? Yeah, this is just example where you can. They're playing with it now under like R&D, just changing different by command, by text, or by sketches. Okay, these are different software and what's next. Okay, so this is what I would like to highlight. It allows architect to automate BIM tasks via plain language and command. They can interpret large language model. Okay, these are our projects, just to give you some idea what we have done so far. Okay, under JKR workflow. Say BIM, you have to do it. This is, as I mentioned earlier, there are 3 ways. Okay, the third one, you have to learn through doing. Because every project is different. Different problem, different scenario, different complexity, different team. The social aspect of BIM is so very important. As a BIM manager, sometimes dealing with technology is easier than dealing with people. So this is another issue. So this is the project in Langkawi, currently about 70%. You generate literally about 15,000 drawings in 2 months. Okay, with all the RDE, room data elevation. How many? This is just one simple example. You do all the fabrication drawing and so on. Okay, imagine if you were to do this manually using AutoCAD. Okay, and then the checking all done using cloud. They can do the comments, and then the modeler will take from this. We just manage this, and this is also accessible. We did the 4D as well, the simulation. You link BIM model in Navisworks using Microsoft project. So you can do the simulation. This is for quarters. Clash analysis is done automatically, okay, using BIM Collaborate Pro. You just need to do the coordination space, and then just include whatever discipline model. It will do the clash analysis where it used to take a long time using Navisworks. Okay, structure versus architecture, structure versus plumbing, one by one, right? But now it just do that in matrix. It's just like it can do like hundreds different class versus what automatically in cloud. It's just like when you do network rendering. When you do your own workstation rendering, it take 1 hour, right? When you do network rendering, it take 1 minute. Just like that. Okay. This is where we integrate Naviswork with, you either use Naviswork to integrate civil 3D model, which is in DWG format, and in meter, in terms of units, how you integrate that with Revit model in MM. Okay, and then you can switch between Project North and True North, and coordinate with infrastructure and so on. And then you do the coordination, visual checking, auto clash analysis, okay, and the actual implementation on site. This is the actual implementation on site. Some of them, the sequencing. Of course, with computer you can do anything, but the hard physical pipe, of course, you know, which one comes first? Still, you need to do coordination at site at LOD 400. Okay, this one is already completed at LOD 500. Took us 7 years to complete. It was quite challenging. This one quite challenging, but we did it, even though not fully satisfied 100% with all the constraints, but we did it. This is one of the section box taken from Hospital Kajang. Okay. So all the drawing generated from BIM model. Structure, services. Okay, this is an example where we do for FM, LOD 500, for RNR. The problem with this project, we did the point cloud scanning, and then you convert into Revit, but whatever embedded or concealed you cannot see, and you have to guess. The best is, and that's why JKR make it a point that for JKR project is mandatory. So you know where the routing, the pipe running, the conduit and so on inside, or even underground services. Okay, so just, this is API that I was talking about. We have our own programmer. I do a bit of programming, but not much. So you can come up with your own dashboard with all the pull down menu linked to Autodesk Fusion. Last time Autodesk, even now with Collaborate Pro, you can link also. And you can put that under other cloud based like Microsoft Azure or AWS, Amazon Web Service and so on. So you can customize this. Okay, this is the school that I mentioned. This is the first project where it's conventional, but they will use it up to LOD 500, meaning the contractor will also have to use BIM and hand it over to JKR for operation and maintenance with SBIM model. This is the one that I show you. We did 3 options design. With BIM, of course, is much faster. And sometimes the option is just the variation in terms of facade or layout design, but the room layout are all the same. Okay, just a quick example. Even though it's cool, but because of the lab and all the classroom layout, they want it to be quite detailed with the built-in and so on. The underground services, now it's under construction. Okay, the civil work. Okay, we come to an end for Q&A. So, in order to stay competitive, yes, you have to embrace AI, because AI is just like your vehicle. If you used to ride bicycle, but now why do you ride? You drive your car. We used to walk, but now we take, aircraft. Otherwise, you will be left behind, right? So it's a combine of design intuition. Okay, nobody can replace human mind, no matter how Elon Musk come up with neural link and so on, AI. We are the only creation that can conceptualize. We can conceptualize. That's why we can go beyond the space and very deep inside the sea, because we can conceptualize and create to serve our humankind. All right? So that's all. AI will not replace architect, but architect who use AI will replace those who don't.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Architect ZAMRI. The first time I heard about AI, I was shaking because I was thinking that how are we going to compete with something that just by click and just a simple prompt can produce anything? And then last year, if I'm not mistaken, there's one conference from handled by ID, where most of interior designer, they already feels that their job is being replaced by AI. So they were talking about this for quite some times. And then after I went to 2 class of AI with University Technology Malaysia, and then I realized that, oh, actually we can only compete with them when we are above them, when we are no better than them. So once you know how AI works and how, what kind of function that, that can be used and how to prompt especially, because there's a way of doing prompting. So if you don't know how to do prompt, or maybe not sure, you end up will be frustrating with all the results that are coming up. So to have that prompt is really important. So once I went to that 2 classes, taught by somebody who not involved in development, and they were talking about business actually, and I realized that, oh, I can do my own marketing tools and everything, but then there's still the creative part has to come from the prompt. So you have to know how to write prompt properly. And for your information, that class, most of the participant is 60, 50 above. It's not even younger generation. So they learn, this is something that you need to learn right now. It doesn't matter what age you are, or what is your background, something that you cannot say, never mind, I'll leave it to the youngest. No, it's the generation where you have to run. This is the era. Because it's going to change in a few months, probably another tool's coming out, and then you'll say that, I just learned about ChatGPT, now I have to learn about something else. Within that 2 class, in 3-month gap, there's a new version where you can do prompt. They come up with a simple, simple iklan, advertisement, with people walking and moving. So just for a few months a gap. So if we don't take the challenge now, we might lose, not, I would say job, but that it will be, we are losing that, losing the grip to be part of the new technology. Okay, so without further ado, I would like to open the floor for question and answer. And since I'm from the graduate committee, we don't go like a simple Q&A session where I can go straight to the floor. All right.
Hello, hi, thank you. Hello, hi. My name is Alwin Iskandar. I'm the BIM manager for RTX's design group. First of all, this is a question for Architect ZAMRI. First of all, thank you. You were my panel for oral earlier this year. Yeah. So two issues that I would like to address in our workforce industry actually. Number one, it's the BIM usage by the MEP consultants. You said that they are not making enough money to be investing in such expensive softwares. And I saw you did mention about SAPIE, the open BIM system in Spain. Do you have any experiences with that, and would you recommend it for us to use? That's one. Number two, how do we convince an organization that it is good to invest in BIM Collab Pro? Because I have had experience with it, but in my new organization, they considered it an expensive, itulah, macam a bit too much for the usage right now. But we are expecting a few projects coming up, so I do foresee the need for it. So your advice, please. Thank you.
Okay. Can you hear me? Dengar? Okay. Siapa nama dia? Sorry. Alwin. No, okay. Yeah. I supposed to be at LAM now, but I came going back. Anyway, the first question, you're talking about MEP, yeah? Yes. I think it's not so much about software or hardware. It's about how much modeling time and labor they have to put in to complete so that others can do the coordination or clash. Because you have to wait for them. For example, like ICT, they have to complete the electrical routing and outlet first because ICT go in hand. And so does other like BIM furniture and so on. So they have no choice, they have to do it. But last time they survived with just the schematic diagram and then they adjust on site and they have to do much. So the fee is reflected upon that kind of scope. But now they have to think that it may not be enough anymore. And the second question about the CDE, Common Data Environment, BIM Collaborate Pro. Either you use BIM 360 last time. But truly, this is how the efficiency that you can achieve. 2,500 ringgit per lesson per year is well worth it. It proven to be very efficient. Without that, I don't know, very difficult. You have to do a lot of meeting, unnecessary coordination meeting. You do not know what others are doing or have they complete the work or not. How you communicate if you have clash that need to be resolved before other discipline can continue. So tell them, if I were to mandate it, I would say just mandatory. You have to use it. Of course, the cost is not that high, but still high. But it's well worth it. So this is the part where the government, you're talking about digitalization, being efficient, increase productivity. If the government really look into I would say the leverage for us to be more efficient, more competitive, we can export our services. This is where the government could help because we are at this disadvantage. We should have told all the American companies like Autodesk, Trump, you should charge us in ringgit instead of in dollar, so that we are at par in terms of paying for the software price. So that's my answer for that. Thank you, Alvin.
Okay. All right. Any other questions?
Assalamualaikum. Just now Zam tanya whether in 5 years' time there will be an architect, and I don't know, I'm putting up my hand and said mungkin tidak kot. Okay, the question is this: have we reached the phase whereby AI can be integrated into the human brain?
AI could integrate it into human brain. Yep.
If you follow Neuralink, Elon Musk, the R&D is being done now at animal testing stage, where they can download the memory from animal brains, and they also, when you link that with the database, they can predict the action of the animal before it take the action. Like if the animal were to turn right, they know it. It sends a signal. So this is because now the technology can go into nano, the cellular level, how minute, how small it is. And everything communicated in our brain is also electrical signal and so on. So we don't know. It sounds like a sci-fi, but they're doing it. To what extent, we don't know. We don't know.
I think it's true because last time when we watch movies, we also assume that this would be into year 2000 something or 3000 something. It's happening now. Mungkin tunggu masa je nak come out with to the public, right?
Now they make it. It's a matter of whether it's still at that R&D developmental stage, concept stage, or it can be just at bulk level of production where normal public can use it. Yeah. And now they have this walking machine in China. They sold it already, like $10,000 US.
Yeah, where you can walk.
You can wear the gear and it walk for you.
It's already tested.
Yes.
The one is already sold at.
And now, next they can, you can wear like Superman suit. You can fly.
It could happen. Actually, it could happen. Okay. Any other questions? Yes.
Hi. My name is Ahmad Rizal. I'm a principal architect myself. Okay. I have a question to ZAMRI. AR ZAMRI, regarding the thing that you mentioned just now, that you have been training staff for quite some time, and later on with the additional hike up of 1,500 off they go. Okay, I had a similar experience. It's just that I just want to find out, will there be any mechanism in place, like what Singapore is doing, like when they send out their staff for some kind of training, then they have to put up a bond for 2 or 3 years, something like that. Would there be a mechanism like that in Malaysia? And whose responsibility of doing that? And also, maybe you have your own thing that you have been doing so far. How do you come across with this?
Right. Thank you.
Siapa nama tadi? Lupa.
Rizal.
Rizal. Okay, Cik Rizal. I would say that is a good question because I don't have the right answer for that. We did try so many things, but we have certain limit. You know, if I were to revise somebody's salary, you know, revise up, pay 1,500 more, I may have to revise the whole stuff. You know, so sometimes even when Singapore, when we lost our staff to Singapore, they pay 3 times more just by conversion factor only. So we cannot counter that. And then the cost of training is not much. You can also claim under HRDF now, right? So even if you put contract, okay, if you leave 1 year after training, you have to pay back this 3,000 ringgit, whatnot. And we had example, the hiring, the new firm, willing to buy out. In lieu of 2 months notice, they just pay 2 months salary. This is the situation that we have no choice sometimes just to keep revising the salary to a point yang provide all these, you know, benefit, bonus, office trip, you know. I don't have good answer for that. But the fact that it is still, you know, high in demand is a market forces. I would say in order to, you know, there are certain limit that we individual firm can do or individual practice can do. When it comes to, you know, as a profession, as a nation, you have to go to the government initiative like CIDB or even, you know, digitalization ministry or not, you know, to provide the training that it become a norm. You know, even skill set in university, the syllabus are involved in university syllabus as well. You know, they're not providing enough. The graduates are not well trained enough in this digitalization or BIM. Or maybe, you know, some, I remember last time when they did a study, they do like every 3 years, every 5 years revision. But I think it's too late.
Yep.
Even to revise the syllabus, you know. Some of the courses offered in university can be obsolete very fast. So why are they offering this kind of syllabus or even courses if not really high in demand in the market? Might as well, you know, like you have to provide some linkages with the industry and get the industry feedback, and then you provide what is more high in demand in the market. So that may solve the problem lah, in that sense. Thank you.
So like what we did in graduate committee, we talked to the university, to the student itself, when to see how the market will change in the future. So when we understand this future generation of architects, how they come out, maybe could help our industry, especially in overall, to understand how the market will change, especially when we handle the office itself. Because for them to get out from the office after they gain something too is very easy. Right now it's very easy. So I feel that the environment of the office probably would give some contribution to them. Okay, any other questions? Tak ada. Okay, I have some questions for UAC, and then this is about carbon product tracing control. Actually, when we talk about carbon emission, most of the carbon release is from maintenance side. It's during maintenance. It's not during the constructions only. But the highest is about 40% is coming from the maintenance. From your experience, when you do all this project throughout the whole 61 years of UAC, what is the how you control that maintenance and advise the client on looking into your material?
Okay, thank you, Puan Siti. Actually, for UAC, currently we still in the roadmap towards to zero carbon emission. So on top of that, because in terms of cement itself is producing the most carbon emission. That's why what we normally for the normal supplier, they plant a tree, everything. So the solar is the first solution that we take the initiative by collaborating with the NG, so-called the biggest manufacturer for solar in Malaysia right now. So when we collaborating with them, the roadmap is towards that. In terms of supplier also, we also participate towards the green one. Because when, to us as a supplier, where we see the client, the developer to the architect, sometimes they ask for the roadmap also, for that particular, how you want to reduce the carbon emission. That is how we do.
Okay,
Okay,
right.
thanks.
Thank you. Because it's also important to, sometimes when during submission, they have certain requirements from the KM and also BP, so probably they would help you. Any other questions from the floor? Any more? All right, any last words from your side? Maybe Jay, HAQQI.
When we talk about currently the BIM everything, so as a supplier, we also going towards that. And a part of our initiative for our product, we do have also creating the BIM model. So after I heard the presentation from architect ZAMRI, so maybe for our BIM model also can include how our product can include also towards the ESG. So maybe can collaborating, the cert, everything will be inside that particular BIM also. So we also towards that, for modeling everything has been done. So the collaboration also together with the CIDB. And for the IBS factor itself, currently as previous slide I mentioned about one factor. For the BKL project, they quietly impose for that particular IBS factor. That is what we are facing right now. So that's all. That's why we also prepared on the IBS factor for that particular side. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Cik Zamri?
Thank you for inviting me. PAM, this is my first talk about BIM at PAM. I've been giving a lot of talk somewhere else. This is my first talk at PAM because maybe PAM have enough expertise in that, but others are still learning. At the rate of adoption, since I was in council back in 2015, it's still slow. I don't know why. The adoption rate is low. I even with the mandate from GKR saying that if you don't have BIM, you will not get new job. I think even private developer is also start to impose. And just like HAQQI was mentioning, among manufacturer or product manufacturer, those who have BIM model in their website where you can download with a parametric model with all the data inside. For us designer, we would rather choose product that already have BIM model that we download, and we can do analysis because the data is already there. The carbon footprint, the parameter, they call it parametric model. And then those BIM object is already the actual dimension where you can fit in your design. And you have no problem outside to install, the space required and so on. So even for the manufacturer, yes, those who are, BIM ready or adopt BIM and make it publicly available for free actually. You don't pay for that. And CIDB started using that. So the designer will have, Okay, by the way, I forgot to touch one thing just now, which is very critical. Why it's not very successful to implement BIM in Malaysia? Because the old method of delivery is still in place. The procurement, the contract, even the subcontractor, the manufacturer still not ready yet and still going
Yep,
towards
betul,
that.
correct.
So if the whole ecosystem is not ready, we will not get there.
Yeah, it will be difficult to move forward.
That's my maksud.
Betul. Okay. All right. This is what I understand from the overall talks. We cannot like focus one side only on the technology or another side only on the materials as conventional. We have to work this thing together. So I guess probably in the future, maybe PAM can do more innovative and kind of courses where we integrate and learn this thing in PAM itself. Maybe we can have AI class here, right? How to do the right prompt and how to educate and then how to write properly and to produce something, images or something to make our work efficient. I remember last time I went to check ZAMRI office, there's a big CPU, it's like transformer, and now we don't need that. We can even do it in our phone to do some images. So hopefully this enlighten everyone, even though it's a simple things that actually we thought like just AI, but actually it will change our life in the future. So hopefully everybody has some benefit from the talk.